What's your favorite scary movie?
Do you ever fantasize about
damn enchiladas?
That's much too vulgar display of power, Karen.
Let me ask you one question. Are you having fun?
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Because I promise you, you and I are going to have some fun.
Oh, no.
It is time to keep your appointment with the Wicker Man.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Shut up, you bitch hog. Game over.
When did you watch this, by the way? When did you watch today's film?
This morning.
I had a feeling you were going to say about an hour ago.
Kind of this. Well, yeah. So this afternoon, this morning, dinner time-ish. I can't quite remember, but yeah, it was. I was going to do it yesterday, and then when you were like, "Oh, how late do you want to go Sunday?" I was like, "Oh, I can leave it till tomorrow." I've just had a lot of bits and pieces to do today, like over this weekend. So it's just been like, oh, I'll just put it off. And it was like, it gave me a chance to focus on doing some other stuff. So it was like, oh yeah, I'll leave it till last. Then you were like, how late do you want to be? I was like, oh, real do. I don't have to watch it yet.
How late do you want to go on a Sunday night before work tomorrow? Should we just voice note each other, and then I'll just take the voice notes and then just chop them up and put them into a podcast? This is how lazy our pod's going to get eventually.
Yeah.
The pod's going to be text messages eventually.
Just text. Just text to speech.
It's like the audience, you do the work, you read it. We'll make a book. You'd seen this before though, right?
Yeah, more like a couple of times, but it's a bit dull, isn't it?
Interesting point of view early on. Interesting point. Anyway, we'll get into that said film that we're talking about in a minute. Welcome back to the Dreadcast, folks. Welcome back. This is...
Oh, go on. Episode number
77?
That sounds right.
You would say that anyway?
I would always say that.
Do you know what?
Yeah,
Let's go.
That sounds right.
Let's just go with episode 77 for now.
I feel like 76 was Leprechaun. Yeah.
Leprechaun. We did Simpsons last week, sir.
Simpsons.
Oh, he's a tired Aiden today, folks. He's a tired Aiden today.
Let's go with that.
Let's get to the end of the film right now. Let's just wrap it up. Wrap it up.
Well, it is a wrap up, isn't it? This is our.
It is
an end of an era, an end of a series. The final monsters of Universal, as defined by our matching box set.
Very good word in there, yeah. As defined by just this, because as we discovered about halfway through doing this series, there's about 100 other iterations of these films.
Universal churn out loads and loads of sequels and monster movies. But yeah, in terms of our box set, this was the final film to do. The
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
I will say, we started this, so this is 8 films. I don't think we've missed them. We may have missed 1 month of this.
I think there's been a little bit of jiggery-pokery with
9 months
breaks
nearly.
And rests, but yeah,
nearly 9 months to do this, and it's been a fascinating series because I without doing this, I probably wouldn't have watched them for maybe a long time. Maybe just Sunday afternoon. Oh, let's put one of these on. Why not? You know?
I mean, I dipped into it a little bit, but there's definitely ones in that box set that I wouldn't have watched at all. I think it's fair to say.
Or watch again.
I mean, yeah, there are some that I'll never watch again. But I don't like Phantom of the Opera, for example. I don't think I ever would have bothered putting that in the machine to watch. Possibly not The Mummy as well. I mean, yeah. I'm glad that we have, or have managed to go through and watch all of them now.
Yeah. It's been
some of them will be that first and only watch, but
it's been a fun adventure. But as far as this box set, I want to say, people ask where they can check out the films that we review on this show. As far as this, we've been going through our Blu-ray collectors box set we both have right here, as you can
Yes.
see, folks. You can, by the looks of it, you can pick this up on Amazon for about 20 quid. But there is also the 4K collector's edition that got released, I think last autumn, and it looks beautiful, but it's pricey. It's very spenny. It's about £100. But it comes with a lot more than this does, like a proper collector's edition booklet, more information, I guess more behind-the-scenes features. Though this has a lot of good behind-the-scenes features. We actually watched the behind-the-scenes documentary after the film last night. On Creature. So yeah, that's where you can pick it up, but I'm sure you can find them elsewhere on streaming. I'm sure some of these will be on Prime or Shudder. They're probably the more likely suspects, I would have thought.
Prime, I think, has quite a few of them. I am just looking now.
I think I watched one on Prime. I can't actually remember which one it was, but I may have watched one.
Prime does have them. I think our old friend, the Internet Archive.
Oh, yes, that's where we watched them.
I think our old friend, the Internet Archive, has a few as well. They are available. I mean, just looking, this is just Google's where to watch little section. It does show that they're on YouTube, Google Play, Apple TV, and Amazon Prime, all as rentals.
Yeah.
Well, I say all as rentals. I'm looking specifically at Dracula. But I've got a feeling they are all on there.
Yeah.
You may have to rent them from Prime. But yeah, like I say, I've got a sneaking suspicion that a lot of them will be on the Internet Archive as well, because they're old and very much in their remit for preserving these old movies and pieces of media, etc. So, and I know for a fact I've watched, I think, Phantom on there.
Yes, I think you're right. Yeah. So yeah, we've come to the end. And today is going to be Creature from the Black Lagoon. You've already given your brief 2 cents, but we'll get into that in a minute. I just wanted to bring one thing up. I told you earlier this week I was noting down.
Yeah.
I was being professional on this podcast here. About 77 epepisodes in, I'm starting to take notes. Hey, we're getting there. I got a busy life. And I was going to ask you, because you brought it up a couple episodes ago, Beetlejuice 2 trailer came out. Yeah. And you're a Beetlejuice fan.
I am a Beetlejuice. Yeah, we've said Beetlejuice too many times already. We're in for a world of trouble.
Is he going to appear?
Yeah.
If I say Candyman 5 times, will that cancel it out?
I mean, then you've just got double trouble running around. Anyway, moving on.
Biggie Smalls, Biggie Smalls, Biggie Smalls.
There we go.
How about that?
Big Papa.
What did you think of the trailer? Because I have no leg to stand on, so I just wanted to ask what you thought.
I thought it did just enough. Actually, I've got something to say about this because it's
something to say, folks. Is it about the soundtrack, the audio?
No. It's nothing about the trailer specifically. It's about how I viewed it. So I didn't actively go and seek it out. I was scrolling some TikTok and it popped up with somebody's reaction to it.
Okay.
And it annoyed the hell out of me because this person. So in that trailer, have you seen it, right? You've seen the trailer?
Not fully, no, because I've seen the first film. I didn't really want to go down that.
So there's a scene in the trailer where it's the camera kind of slow pans across, and you've got Jenna Ortega, Winona Ryder, and Catherine O'Hara.
Oh yeah.
So two of the returning cast members. Anyway, this guy that was watching it and reacting to it, it comes up and Jenna Ortega's got a little bit more because it shows her riding around on a bicycle.
Okay.
And it shows a couple more of the covered bridge from the original film, a couple more locations, and as she appears, he's like Jenna Ortega, and then it cuts to this cemetery funeral scene, and he's like, oh, that's Winona, and then the camera pans across Catherine O'Hara, and he's just silent. He doesn't react to it at all. Doesn't say a word, and I was like, you're just doing this for jumping on a bandwagon. You're not a fan because you fail to recognize one of the main cast members from that original movie, like they were a cardboard cutout of, you know, Hulk Hogan or something. It was just
Brother.
like there was just no reaction whatsoever, and I was like,
yeah.
I was waiting for him to say, you know, because you name dropping all the other cast members that you recognise from, well, General Ortega from everything at the minute.
Did you say Michael Keaton?
Probably from Stranger Things. Yeah, he managed to get Michael Keaton.
Oh, he did. Okay, all right,
as well. Yeah. And I was just like, you son of a bitch. So,
and he gets all the clicks and all the views probably because his thumbnail looks like.
Just thought, you prick. I don't know who he is, but screw that guy. So that annoyed me.
I hate that.
But yeah, as far as teaser trailer goes, I think it did what it needed to do. It hit the beats of showing that we've got returning characters. There's enough sort of iconic stuff with like the model town and the covered bridge and bits and pieces, you know, that are like sort of iconic locations from the original film. And then we get, you know, the juice is loose. We get Michael Keaton looking very much like Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice, funnily enough.
Yeah.
It's good. I wouldn't say I'm any extra hyped for it. I'm certainly no less hyped for it. I think it's, you know, it's teaser trailer for Beetlejuice 2. It delivered
acceptable.
It delivered what I'm expecting, I guess.
Yeah.
So it was good. It was good. Didn't know. So you thought there was a sound issue or something?
No, not an issue. But I'm so sick of trailers or even adverts, commercials to you American folks, using classic songs but slowed down to a dreary, depressing sound.
There is some of that, and I forget what I forget what the song is now.
I forget what it was, but it's a fairly well known song.
I mean, what it should be is like Harry Belafonte, Shake Sonora, or what's it called? That is it? Jumping the Line, or Tally Deo Tally Me Banana. That one. It should be one of those because they're iconic songs, like a slowed down melodic acoustic guitar version of Deo.
That's it. That's the one. Yeah. Because I remember in when Us came out, Jordan Peele's second film, Us. That trailer was it was played to an alternate version of I Got Five on It by the Loonies.
That's
and it was
it
is the original is, but this was a slowed down, more
not a slowed
melancholic.
down
Like I hate it when it seems like a big trend these days. One trailer that didn't do that though this week was Alien Romulus.
Oh,
now and directed by
Fede Alvarez.
Thank you, because I can never pronounce his name. Kind of, for the most part, always give him big praise, especially because of 2013 Evil Dead. And he came outright and said this week he hates green screen. There's no green screen, pretty much for the most part in this film. That's a big plus. That's a big tick. Yeah. That's a big tick. And
sure is.
God, this franchise has been dead in the water since. I like Alien 3. I don't mind Alien 3.
I like Alien 3 and I like Alien Resurrection. I don't like the prequels.
Oh, no, of course not. No, Prometheus and Covenant are trash.
They are.
Absolute trash.
It's a huge bone of contention in our house, is that we have probably more arguments than we should have about those movies. But...
My word. And AVP 1, I mean, AVP 2 is not watchable. You can't even watch that film.
Actually, not watchable.
No.
Because it's too dark. It's the darkest film in existence. I like AVP 1 for what it is.
It's goofy.
Which is an incredibly cheesy, goofy action popcorn flick. I've watched it a few times. It's alright. I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it, but I wouldn't necessarily turn it off if I caught it on TV. You know what I mean? It's all right.
Yeah, I get that.
Requiem, I mean, who knows? That might be great, but I can't see it. It's too dark.
It might be.
Might be really good.
It could be incredible. So Alien Romulus, so far, it's only a trailer. trailers are what they are, but I have hope. I have.
I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
just
have
about to say
any.
it.
I don't have any negativity towards it right now, which is for the Alien franchise is a plus. So looking forward to seeing more of it, seeing what we get more in the future of it. Yeah. So
I'm liking the look of it.
I wrote a couple more things down, but I will save them till next week because we are working men. And we got to wrap this up. We got to wrap this up within about 10 minutes. So we got to get a few pointers out of the way. So yeah, the last in our Monsters of the Universal franchise, Creature from the Black Lagoon. You've seen this before. I have never seen this before. I didn't even know what the initial story was of this film. No, it's a creature.
It's about a creature
from a lagoon.
That's dark in nature. Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know the backstory really of it.
No. It's another story. It's another Hollywood concoction. It's not based on any novels, Victorian pulp literature or anything like that.
No.
Apparently, the inspiration comes from the director having dinner with Orson Welles, a dinner party at Orson Welles' house, who told a story that he'd heard, like a folk's tale that he'd heard in Mexico about some fish creature that steals people.
Steals people.
I mean,
and takes them back to their cave, which geographically doesn't make too much sense. That really bothered me. He goes so deep underwater, and then he ends up in the cave, and then just walks out into the trees.
Yeah. Look, if you want to get nitpicky, they talk about the Devonian period quite a lot. The fossils that they find are from the Devonian period, and there's several mentions of 150 million years ago during the Devonian period. Actually, 150 million years ago, I think you'll find is the Cretaceous period, and the Devonian period is 359 to 419 million years ago. So you're way off. Stick that in your fish skeleton.
That's quite a difference. I mean, one of my first notes, in fact, my third note here, and I'll get to the 1 and 2 in a second. My third note: terrible archaeologist, just yanked the hand out of the stone without care.
I mean, they did it differently back then. I mean,
evidently,
as far as 1950s. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty standard. You get the local chappies to dig the holes for you, and yeah.
I was when I saw those guys, I was a bit. I wanted to just look closer and make sure they weren't, shall we say, in makeup. Because of the times, I just no. This looks okay. This looks okay. This looks legit.
I feel like that sort of basin haircut is kind of bordering on like stereotypical though.
Yeah, their haircuts are really bad. But yeah, the beginning of the film, we definitely don't get Swan Lake. We're past that.
We definitely we're
way past that. And I don't know why that felt like, it feels like a kind of Mandela effect. I think we only got it in 2 films.
Yeah.
But it felt like for the beginning, we got it in every film. But what we do get is an intro where in the first few beats, sounds like Godzilla. And I was very hype. Because we're also 54 in the same year as the original Godzilla.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. But the drums, the bing, bing, it sounded like the original Godzilla.
We do have quite a lot of big bombastic music going on in this.
We do. We have the same audio tune though that is played whenever the creature is appearing on screen. It's the same tune, which I guess similar to other monster films. The Godzilla, like I just said.
Yeah,
it's the same
he's got
tune.
his own theme.
But what I really liked from the get-go, we had a different setting. We weren't in a castle. We weren't in London. We weren't in a manor house.
Mm-hmm.
We were in a water stage,
baby.
We were in a water stage at studios that didn't look like the Amazon whatsoever.
No, I like it. They did cut in some stock footage of like crocodiles and stuff.
Oh
like,
yeah. They did.
out
Yeah.
just to just to mix it up a little bit. Yeah, I guess wildly different setting. We have it's the jungle river cruise.
It certainly is, yeah. And for the most part, that is the whole film set. That is the film's location.
Yeah, I mean, the boat is on the lagoon, and there's a lot of scuba diving, a lot of
we'll get to that.
quite long scuba diving scenes, and I think, and I heard this the other day. I can't remember where I heard it now, but I think I agree with the point, and I think it fits with this. Is that older films just have a totally different pacing, and people in the 50s were quite happy to sit through what feels like a 4-hour-long scuba diving scene before anything happens. Whereas, we as a modern, like if you remade this now, there'd be once that monster appeared, you'd have that like constant sort of like threat. Yeah. Like, we're being stalked. There's a creature. We need to get out of here. Oh, it's blocked the boat. It's done this. It's done that. Whereas this is like, we get a couple of monster sightings, and then everybody's like, "Well, darling, we're here in the Amazon. I'm gonna smoke a cigarette, and we're gonna have a conversation about the meaning of life. And there's no imminent threat."
Yeah.
And
a lot of conversations about it.
There's a lot of conversations about whether this. I mean, there is one in particular where they're discussing where they think they've shot it with a spear, and they've taken a photograph of it, and then they're having a discussion back on the ship as to whether this thing they saw was real or not. Meanwhile, he's choking a guy to death on the deck. He's crept.
Oh yeah, he is.
Well, all the sort of science-minded gentlemen are sat there giving it the, well, do we think this creature is real? Yeah. So I think it suffers with the pacing of just films from that era, I think, where they're just slow.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think a lot of these monster films we've watched, they kick off within the first 10 minutes or so, and then we're lots of talking, lots of discussions of what's happening, and then we bookend it with getting back to a bit more excitement, action, monster action. This, I think, like what you said, dull. It does become dull. I don't think it's dull from the get-go.
No.
It becomes dull from about halfway to 3/4 through, because I noted it down. I noted down that, they're back in the water again. Back on the boat. We're going back in the water again. And back on the boat. And we're going back in the water again. And back on the boat. Yeah,
when they come up with the plan of like trying to poison the creature, we have two scenes where they basically go out in a little rowboat and drop poison into the water.
Yeah.
And then they decide to go out and try it again. And it's like, really?
Yeah.
We have to watch them do this little tour twice. There is a lot of toing and froing, a whole lot of toing and froing.
Just to get them out of the way, a few things I did like at the beginning. I haven't got the names of our characters here, but I called him Sean Connery, our main archaeologist.
Colonel Sanders.
Colonel Sanders. Colonel
Sanders.
Colonel Sean Connery. Colonel Sean Sanders just rips the hand of what is essentially another creature.
Yeah.
So it's the fossil remains of another creature. By the way, he's just called the creature in this, isn't he? He's not. He's an amphibian, but he's just a creature.
He's just the Gill Man. I think they refer to him as the Gill Man at one point.
Yeah.
But yeah, generally the creature. I mean, I don't think in the film they refer to it as anything else. It's just it's a Gill Man or it, isn't it?
Or the monster.
The monster. Yeah. But I think generally speaking, it's just the creature, isn't it? It's the creature from the Black Lagoon. That's what it's called. The
Yeah.
creature.
But so our main archaeologist, he finds the fossil remains of another creature, and then he takes it back to the science lab with all these other scientist men, and they're all their pipes. Yes, quite, yes. And I really like. There's a little speech that our main lead, David, says about how he's so upbeat about it. Like, this is a thing we've never seen before. He's so like, we should learn from our fishy friends how to adapt to new worlds. You know?
Oh yeah, he starts talking about space travel. And they might want to learn how to survive in different atmospheres and things.
Yeah, like if they can adapt to, in theory, their new world, however long ago, we can adapt to our new world. And actually, I've got to mention, the beginning of the film is like at the beginning of time.
Oh yeah, we've got
the
Big
Earth
Bang
was
and
created.
the cooling of the Earth. And,
Yeah.
And yeah, the formation of and the first life takes its tentative steps out of the water and onto dry land.
I think that's really important for the context of the creature.
Mm-hmm.
Because the creature is so alien in a way. It's not an alien like from outer space.
Yeah,
it's alien to us. So it's
alien
here
out of time, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I suppose an equivalent would be like the Loch Ness monster. It's this supposed a prehistoric creature that's somehow managed to survive. I mean, I don't know how, because there's only one of them. And
in a lagoon,
he spends most of the movie trying to steal a woman. So I'm assuming there's not a huge amount of scope for breeding in the Gilman's general world.
Well, there are 2 sequels. I don't know if the sequels include another one, because this our creature here doesn't necessarily. They don't confirm the kill.
Well, no, because they let it. They very deliberately let it go, don't they? So yeah, we get. You're right. We do get a couple of sequels. Revenge of the Creature and The Creature Walks Among Us. But yeah, we don't ever get. They basically just let it go. Like, we can't kill this. Like, after they make a good attempt. It gets shot with a spear gun twice. And they absolutely fill it full of lead. And I think at one point, David says, like, no, that's enough. He's had enough.
Leave him alone.
But yeah, you're right. He doesn't actually, we never actually see him die. He just, sort of, no, I don't suppose we do really. He just goes back into the water. And I think it's kind of implied that it dies, but I mean, they don't. It's Hollywood, isn't it? They can bring a creature back if they want to bring a creature back. It doesn't matter whether he's dead or not.
Oh, they'll find any reason for it.
Yeah.
The other points just from the beginning of the film, which obviously spam the rest. Our main female lead, played by Julie Adams. Mm-hmm. Firstly, very stunning woman. But on that topic of she's a very stunning woman. For the 50s, I don't know what it was, but the way she looked, her makeup, her hair, her outfits, felt very ahead of the time. She didn't look like she was stereotypically from the 50s, in my opinion.
Yeah, I suppose I know.
It was a really quick thing I pointed out to myself. But it was. She felt way ahead of her time. Her mannerisms, looks, her acting, everything.
Yeah, she's very. I mean, there is one scene where I can't remember whether it's David or the other. Is it Mark, the other character? They basically ask if she's up to the challenge of doing something. I think it's when they first decide that they learn about the tributary of the river they're on ends in a lagoon. And they decide that they're going to go and check it out. And I think somebody says to her, like, "Oh, do you think you'll be able to handle it?" sort of thing. But apart from that, she's not spoken down to. She's treated as
not at all
as an equal, and And I guess also coupled with that is, which is, I mean, that's great, but I guess coupled with that as well is the fact that we've got this like exotic setting, and she's not, you know, in a pinny in a kitchen. No. You know, she's not playing a housewife or a mother. In that, she's outside of what would be those sort of typical female roles, in a more urban setting. That it perhaps stands out a little bit more. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that, but
and her makeup and hair is flawless throughout.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the middle of the bloody Amazon. The humidity, the water, like the woman goes swimming, makeup is fine. And we'll get onto the swimming in a bit because I was furious about that. But yeah, I thought she was great, and like you said, you made a good point. Yeah, she wasn't talked down to. She felt like an equal. She wasn't a damsel in distress, but she was a little bit because she was being harassed in a way, in a big way towards the end.
But like not in that sort of usual way where she's absolutely.
No, I meant by the creature.
I mean, if you obviously in the cinema, a lot of the what's the word I'm looking for? The poster art and a lot of the sort of promo art is Julie Adams being carried by the creature or menaced by the creature in some way, but she's not like the shy, retiring. She doesn't just like scream and wilt and wait to be captured.
Not at all. Not at all. No.
Like she's, you know what I mean? She's not in the face of, you know, terror or whatever. She's not just like useless and screaming.
No, she's not. She's equal. She's one of the crew.
Mm-hmm.
She is. She's helpful in every way. And as a character, she's not infuriating.
Oh no. No, not at all. I mean, I think she stands out more than some of the. I mean, because with the male characters, we've got basically two schools, haven't we? We've got the
oh my god, they blended into one.
There's the scientists, and then there's the other guy. Is it Mark?
I think Mark and David are your A and B, your 1 and 2 that come to blows at the end. But David is your main scientist.
He's the scientist. He's a ichthyologist, isn't he? I believe.
Yeah.
But Mark is basically the money man, or he's looking for what the money angle is. So he's like, oh, we can, you know, capture this creature and sell it, you know what I mean? That's he's looking for the fame and fortune angle on the expedition. Whereas, David is a lot more practical. They have that, like you said, they have that bust up where
in the cabin,
basically saying, like, let's get out of here. Like, we're not equipped to do this. Like, we need to leave. We can come back and take it out at a later date. And he's like, no, we'll do it now. Although equipped to deal with it, they're packing a reasonable amount of firepower.
They seem to be. They seem to be. Yeah,
they've got a bunch of stuff. They're not like completely unarmed. But yeah, he's the spear gun and 2 rifles and a load of poison, so they're not doing too badly.
Say spear gun. Isn't it technically it's like a crossbow, because doesn't harpoons have ropes on the end of the spears?
I mean, they can do. I don't think they always do.
I always thought they did.
I mean, I'm not a spear fisherman. I don't know exactly what the rules are.
I'm sorry, you're not?
I'm not a big city spear fisherman.
I thought I knew you.
I'm gonna Google it. Spear fishing equipment.
Well, that would be a spear, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, I think it's
a spear gun.
A spear gun.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, yeah, fine. Well,
I think you have a spear
call it a spade a spade. We'll call it a spear gun. Yeah, all right.
I mean, I don't think these have ropes on.
Yeah, Mark and David, the main ones, but as you briefly mentioned as well, they do all kind of blend into one scientist. Apart from the boat driver, the captain. eccentric.
it's Lucas, was he called?
Always with a cigar in his mouth, eccentric
And just
Brazilian
laughing
or
and-
Hispanic person. Yeah, but there's about
Yeah.
5 different men there that all they're all science man.
I mean, this is the problem. This has been the problem with all of these films, though, isn't it?
It
It's
has.
usually
It
just-
really
It's a bunch of middle-aged white men in tuxedos, usually. In this, it's a bunch of middle-aged white men in swimming trunks. But very little to tell them apart otherwise. Yeah, I gave up a long time ago bothering to try and learn character names watching these movies.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just, there's that guy with the thing, and then there's that guy with the thing, and it's usually only the heroine that stands out, usually just because she's the only woman in the picture. And then the creature of whatever the creature is, because again, it's the only creature in the feature. But all the other characters, all the male characters, that you could replace them all with Lego men. They're all basically the same.
Yeah, Lego.
Why not?
Why not? Let's have the Lego. I wonder, actually, completely tangent here, but as we were talking about last show, I want to see how horrific the creature from the Black Lagoon Funko Pop looks.
You know what? There are some great. One thing I do have to say about this is I
Yeah.
love the creature. I absolutely adore.
I think he's
the
great.
look of the creature.
Yeah.
And there are so many like action figures and statues
I
that
wonder if
look fantastic.
Trick or Treat Studios, who do fantastic figures. That's where I got my Tarman from Return of the Living Dead from.
Mhm.
I wonder if they do they must do a creature.
There are some
Bigger.
ace ones. There's ones that you can take the chest piece off and you can see like the internal anatomy of them. There's ones with a bunch of different heads. There is a prop of the claw, the fossil claw.
Oh, that's that. I think. Do you know what? I think out of all of it, I'd like that. The claw.
that is available.
But now, by looking at these though, this is kind of what bothers me a little bit with the design. I like the design, but I'm glad this is in black and white, because this in color with those rosy red lips looks so goofy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
in black and white, it's seamless. It doesn't look. You can't tell, obviously, but it. Oh,
The Funko Pop looks terrible, by the way.
of course it
looks
does. Of course it does.
It looks like something else entirely.
Yeah.
It looks like a completely different creature.
You can get head busts, it look like, of the creature. That's pretty much what I'm seeing here.
Oh, there are, like I said, there are some really good
Hmm.
merch figures.
But those
Um,
lip, oh boy.
but yeah, I know what you mean. There was a couple of scenes where I'm pretty sure you can see the actor's chin inside the costume.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I was staring like intently at a couple of times because it is a good costume, because I think he's got like a tongue in there and stuff. So
Well, there's two of them.
It's-
There's 2 different costumes,
mm,
and they differ slightly. Apparently,
okay,
one of them, a chest is more out there, like a bit more muscular, a bit more peckish, and another one
Uh-huh.
is so flat. I don't think you'd be able to tell watching the film for the first time. I certainly couldn't. It was when I watched the documentary after. They had
Okay.
2 different stunt guys because they were filming on 2 different locations.
right, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if one of
um,
them was like a swimming suit or.
Well, one of the suits, the gills, they have bladders, and they pump compressed air into the gills. I think there's a shot where he climbs up on board, not far towards the end, and you can see his gills moving. There was obviously foam rubber latex in the mouth, so he could go. Rah, rah. I wish they'd done
okay.
something with the eyes, at least with where the eyebrows are, where they could and move them up and down a bit, give them a bit more expression in the eyes. But
Yeah,
for the most part, for 1950s, it's great.
it is pretty good for essentially a guy. What is just a guy in a rubber suit. I
Yeah.
did like the bit when they captured it on the boat though, and you could just see him like looking up out of the water.
Oh my god, that was so funny. It's about 4 different shots where they go back and forth, and he's just standing there in his bamboo cage, just not blinking, motionless. Just
It
like,
is.
are
And the
you
guy's
okay?
just like smokes his pipe and falls asleep, and then has a conversation with the girl, and then it's just, and then all of a sudden the creatures escaped. It's just.
He reminded me of an episode of Parks and Recreation where April and Ben go to work for this congressman, but he's like a robot, and he talks to the camera like, "Oh, we're going to do this for you," and he goes back to his office and just sits down
and just stares. Yes.
Kind of reminded me of that.
Just going back to the action figures for a second.
Yeah.
There's a really nice the Nika Ultimate Creature figure has two variations. One of them is color, the other one is black and white. It's got like the grayscale coloring. It's exactly the same figure as far as I can tell in terms of accessories, the different hands and head variants, but it's just the color in the black and white one does look very cool.
I would want the black and white one. No, hands down, no questions.
Yeah, I think they've done it for all the classics. There's a black and white Wolfman. There's a black and white Frankenstein monster.
Oh yeah, I see them here. Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. Okay. Oh, they're really nice.
Because I agree, it does in color does just look a little bit sillier than perhaps it should.
A little bit sillier. Just a little bit. As far as it being filmed in black and white, and yeah, I don't think this film would have done. I don't know how well it did. I don't think it would have done as well in color because of I imagine this being quite scary in the 50s for the audience. I imagine it having a bit of a scare factor for the audience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No one ever seen anything like this. But I don't know, would the scare factor have been there if the creature was in colour? With his big rosy red lips and his bright green look?
I mean, probably not, because I don't think stand out too much.
But that's coming from a modern...
Yeah, it's
look
very
on
difficult.
It. Yeah,
we've got to just we're just making assumptions here. We're just
completely, yeah.
Guessing.
Oh, we're just talking bollocks here, like we always do. Yeah,
just making it up. Completely. I think people in the 50s would have been completely amazed by this.
I know they would.
No, I think that's a fair point. I think even looking at it from in terms of what had gone before and what you see on screen, I think the color. I think it'd stick out too much to be believable. I think in this case, the black and white probably does hide a multitude.
I think it
of
helps.
Sins, you know what I mean? Yeah,
helps a lot. It really does. And also, I mean, we didn't want to watch it in this setting, but this was released in theaters in 3D.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And this is black and white 3D, so the glasses had like a grey filter on.
Grey and white.
Yeah. They talked about it in the behind the scenes documentary. I can't remember the specifics of what they used. It wasn't like a rear. It was some special projection they used, which helped with the grey filter that the audience were having their glasses. But I also fairly certain this is the first underwater film, like parts of it have been underwater, to be featured in 3D. Apparently during the 50s there was a 3D fad, and it is a fad because it comes round and round and round, round again. One of the biggest fads in movie entertainment.
It's never going to become the mainstream, is it? It's never going to be.
How's your 3D TV doing, folks?
That's interesting. No, I didn't know it was 3D, and you wouldn't know it to watch it. There are no like deliberately filmed for 3D shots. There's nothing.
There's no classic Resident Evil.
No,
something coming towards the screen.
There's nothing like that. That is interesting. I mean, for more than one reason, I didn't know that it was even possible back then. So that's
neither did I. Neither did I.
That's one thing that's pretty cool. Was this the first?
No. It's not the first. That I do not. Why the fuck are you asking me that?
I didn't
I didn't have that information at hand, Aidan.
I didn't necessarily mean the first 3D film, full stop, but the first 3D monster film.
Well, just off the top of my head, the first the first 3D feature film around 1922 with a title. What was it called?
No, 1922. What, with glasses and everything?
Oh,
Proper 3D.
I think it was something like the Power of Love in 1922. It's something like that. But I digress. Yeah, that's wild. 100 years ago.
Yeah, that is wild. That really is wild. And it does explain, because obviously we're doing a little bit of Googling about the creature and stuff and just looking at the action figures and things. There have been a couple of like 3D images, where they've got that weird sort of blurry outline around them. A couple of 3D images have popped up, and I thought they were just like gimmicky little postcards, but obviously that must be a reference to the fact that this was released in 3D. Yeah, that's blown my mind, because that's so strange.
Yeah, it really is.
You wouldn't know that. And again, I mean, I suppose it wasn't new technology then, given what we've also just learned. But you'd think they would have put in some like obvious 3D bait.
There's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. No. And I like that. I really like that. And I mean, I'd be really intrigued to see how this looks in 3D. How it feel like. I don't know how we'd be able to do that now.
No, I guess you've got a couple, especially early on. There's a couple of instances of the creature's hand like reaching out.
Yeah,
like,
out of the water.
5 minutes,
yeah.
It's just the claw, isn't it? It's just his like webbed claw that you can see. So I wonder if those things like pop a little bit more.
Possibly. Yeah, that could work for sure. Yeah. Very strange. I mean, this and Phantom are probably the two that stand out of the box set for being the most different. Phantom is the first in Technicolor out of the films, and this was the first in 3D. I don't think the others really stood out, having their own sort of unique aspect.
I don't think so. I mean, the Invisible Man. I suppose the Invisible Man has some like.
Oh, there were some incredible effects.
Out there, special effects.
Yeah. I suppose so.
I think probably just that one. Yeah, I'm just glancing over some of my notes now, and it does feel like there's a lot of messing about. There's one note in particular, because there's more swimming about with the spear gun. Creature gets shot again. Yeah. One of the guys gets killed. That is a scene that seems to repeat itself several times.
It does. It's even repeating itself. We get before the creature is revealed, which comes out of nowhere. We get a lot of, like you said, hand coming out of the water, hand going back in the water, hand coming back in a window, coming back out, and then the reveal is just sudden. There he is.
I mean, we as the audience, we see the creature like quite a lot. It's not until like quite far into the film that he's revealed to the rest of the cast. We get this. It's almost like a weird romantic like scene, like Romeo and Juliet meeting for the first time with the creature and is it Kay? Is the character called Kay?
Who Julie Adams plays?
Julie Adams' character. Anyway, whatever it is. Where they're like, she's obviously unaware of the creature's presence. She's swimming about in the lagoon, and he's like sort of underneath her, swimming, like tentatively reaching out to her, and it is this almost sort of like unrequited love romance thing happening, and it's very weird. It plays out for a long time. We get these. It's like a scene from another film. We get these long. A bit
Frankenstein with the monster and I can't remember her name. I can't remember her name in Frankenstein. Our female lead.
I can't.
But I mean, is the creature? We don't we can't really tell if he's pure evil. Like you said, he's looking for. He could be looking for love. He's looking for a mate.
I think that's how it's portrayed.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a Universal Monster poster here. It's fan art. I'll send you
some of the art for this film as well.
This is pretty cool, but the little tagline that they've given for this is a clawing monster from a lost age strikes from the Amazon's forbidden depth and finds bikini wrapped love.
Oh wow, he's copping a feel. He's copping a feel right there.
But yeah, I mean, I think it is heavily implied that he's interested in the female of the species.
Yeah.
We don't see a Mrs. creature from the Black Lagoon anywhere.
We don't. I don't know why this poster's giving me Toxic Avenger vibes. Like I could see a creature like I fell into a toxic lake or lagoon, came out looking like a creature, and then goes to be the hero, the vigilante hero that we all deserve.
I mean, it's kind of like Swamp Thing. It's got a little sort of Swamp Thing sort of vibes. There is actually a little statue here I've found of a Mrs. creature from the Black Lagoon.
No.
And it's a female version of the monster.
Okay, all right. Come on.
I mean,
come on.
It's it's nothing too outrageous. It's basically the same basic creature, but with some little lady bumps.
Lovely lady bumps.
Yeah.
Wow. Bald. Still bald.
I mean, it is the creature. It's basically just the same.
Just with breasts.
just with some.
I don't really know how to feel about that.
Just with some boobs.
It feels a bit like a lazy design though. Like they wanted to create. Unless this is, we don't know. Unless this is a design that crops up in later films or whatever.
I think this is somebody's just like fan.
Yeah.
They've
lazy.
They've modified a model kit.
It's lazy then if it is, because just slap some boobs on it.
I mean, it's almost like Google's just predicting what I'm talking about at the minute, because I mentioned a female monster and suddenly there she was.
Yeah.
So, well, what did you think overall? What did you think of the creature? Did you enjoy this?
The creature itself or the film?
The movie.
The movie, like I said, I like how it kicks off. I like the setting. It's different. It feels different from the get-go, and I was hooked until we get stuck in the lagoon.
Yeah.
And it's in, out, shake it all about in the water, and I was starting to get a bit bored because of a lot of like chasing and hunting in the water and trying to remove the great dam that the beavers built, but.
Yeah.
How could the ship not just get through that? I don't know.
It just seems to get stuck up on the slightest little bit of
Yeah.
like flotsam in the water. Yeah, I thought it was very silly. I respect that, and I am inclined to agree. It's the third time that I watched this.
Wow.
And each time and the reason I've watched it 3 times is because I can't remember it.
Yeah.
I watched it once thinking, I think I'd really like to finally watch that, so I watched it the first time. And then I watched it again not that long ago because I thought, I don't really remember what happened there. And then obviously the third
Nothing
time,
happens.
because watching it for the pod. And yeah, it was like, this is why I don't remember it.
Yeah.
Because not a huge amount happens, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah, it is.
I kind of wanted to like this one the most because I love the creature design so much.
I expected more from it. I did expect more from it. A few other things I noted down, I guess in a positive way, were they really lit up the underwater scenes, which is obviously shot in a. I say obviously, I haven't actually I haven't done my homework on this because I don't just want to read off Wikipedia. I'm going to assume from
I'm gonna
working on
guess.
working on film sets myself, this is an underwater stage.
Yeah. It's a
Not
tank.
filmed from a tank, but they filmed underwater. But they lit it up so well that whenever they bubbles were coming out of their suit, it was so visceral. They were the bubbles were like sparkles coming up. It all just looked very pretty underwater. The underwater scenes look very pretty. It's only a little thing that I pointed out, but the bubbles had this shine to it, and it was all shiny. You could see the light rays sparkling through the seaweed. The stuntman's swimming was really actually beautiful. Like obviously the prosthetic feet, the flippers, they were so smooth, and he was tucking and moving about the water effortlessly, and I think that really added to, I guess, trying the believability of the creature itself. You know, it's not just a man in a suit, which kind of bothered me. Again, I'm going back to it. Bothered me a lot about some of, I would say, 60s, 70s Godzilla films. It's always a man in a suit until 2004. 2004? I think 2004 was the last one with the suit, Final Wars. And they have their charm. A man in a suit, walking slowly. But sometimes it can just be too jarring, and like you're not even making an effort. This guy, whoever was in the suit, which was one of the two stuntmen, really gave it their all, I felt.
Well, that's a fair point, and that's one. Like I say, I know I've kind of complained a little bit about the drawn out scuba diving scenes.
Yeah,
but they are pretty. They are beautiful.
They are.
It's almost like you're watching a nature documentary. It puts me in mind of something like a Jacques Cousteau film, or watching the the wonderful undersea world, and you're watching stuff. Real sea creatures flipping about with a bit of narration, or it's just a bit of nice music or whatever. It is. It does feel like that, which I suppose just takes. I mean, none of these films have ever been scary, as we've discussed, but I think it does take away a little bit from the horror, because it is kind of like,
I can see that as well.
Watching the creature frolic, in the water, almost. It's it does just take away from any sort of horror aspect it might have.
Do we get does the creature attack them early on? Because I wrote down we get in this film the classic human instinct of seeing something that feels unfamiliar, unknown, or alien, and we instantly attack it. We instantly become aggressive to it. Like they instantly become aggressive to it.
No, I think it's the creature attacks first.
It's the creature, okay.
Because the first thing that they find is when they return to the camp is that the local guides or whoever they are have been killed, and of course. We've skipped right over a couple of like the major plot points.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
But we get like a shot of. Well, the full-on attacking. I mean, it kind of just looks like he's holding his face and pushing him over. But then we get the exterior shot of the tent shaking violently, and then it cuts back into the tent for him attacking the second person that's there. And then presumably they find the bodies, don't they, after the fact? So, they already. I mean, they don't know immediately what's done it, but they already know that the creature's hostile, I suppose. Yeah,
I guess, or they just straight up assume.
So and I think they're right to assume.
Yeah.
That they're going out there to protect themselves. They go out there with the spear gun or whatever, because they think that something out there could be dangerous. I think it's reasonable.
He also technically has a right to defend himself because they're encroaching on his territory.
Yeah. I mean, he's been there for
150 million years.
So that's true.
One, you mentioned it earlier, where Kay is swimming in the lake, the lagoon. That bothered. Oh, I think I may have mentioned it. One of us mentioned it, but that bothered me so much because we're talking about the Amazon here. she is, or she jumps in that lake, swimming around, numerous parasites, leeches, all up in her. There could be piranhas in there. There could be a crocodile.
That is something that did occur to me actually.
It's the
Partway
friggin'
through,
Amazon.
How free and easy they were, just basically going in skin,
Yeah.
just in trunks and.
Oh yeah, I
masks
didn't
and
even
swimming
consider the fact that the guys were just going in there because I don't know, I think in my mind they had their scuba suits on, but they weren't even suits. They're just canisters with a mask on.
No, they weren't like fully suited up or anything.
Yeah, she was having a great time in there. Backstroke, front stroke. Yeah, but that water looks pristine, absolute pristine.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't do that ever or nowadays in the Amazon.
Absolutely not.
Something is laying its eggs inside you somewhere.
That's how you get eggs in you.
That's how you get eggs laid in
That's
you.
how you get eels up inside you.
You want to get eggs laid in you because that's what's going to happen. I've got one note earlier on when you mentioned we were talking about Kay again, how she felt like an equal, but there's one point where they say we'll have to trek through here with a woman.
Yeah,
There you might have tracked bears.
There was the one part that made me absolutely howl with laughter is when they decide to drug the creature. At first, they don't think it's taken effect. There is some mention of that, like it normally lasts for an hour or so, but with this thing we don't know.
Yeah.
And there is a scene where the creature is like attacking again, and then it all of a sudden succumbs to the drug and collapses.
Yep.
And I can't remember whoever it is, middle-aged white man number 3. Just immediately starts wailing on it with an oar or a club of some description, shouting, "We got it! Yeah, we got it!" and just starts beating it like to death. Like he's just going to beat it to death right there and then. And somebody has to stop him and like, "No, just calm down, calm down." His first reaction is like, "This thing's passed out. Right, I'm going to town with whatever heavy wooden object I've got to hand."
This has happened before in films where we've stated how these characters just know when something is dead or passed out. They could look at it and go, "He's dead. He's dead." Can tell instantly he's dead. He's not. He's clearly
They're
not.
scientists.
You're so spot on there. They're scientists. That could be an excuse for so many things in their lives. I'm a scientist.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Then if you're a scientist, you must know.
I've got to do some science.
Everyone, stand back, everyone. Yeah, I don't have too much more of the film. Yeah, I think talking about them going in and out of the water and in and out, that covers a good third of the film.
It really does.
It really does. And it's not
really
in a
does.
bad way. It's not in a negative way. It's more of a... there's not really much going on at this part of the film.
Oh, they're back in the water again. Yeah, like I said, I think it comes back to what I said earlier on about just the pacing for older films being different to what they are now.
Yeah.
Like a modern
completely.
audience just wouldn't put up with this like nonsense. It's like we need the story to progress. Like make it progress. Whereas they're quite happily to just essentially go around in circles for 40 minutes. And then resolve it at the end.
That really comes down to our attention span these days.
Yeah.
Compared to like, back then. People back then would be in the cinema for half a day.
Sure. And again, when I was watching it, I was thinking like, oh, this is dull.
Yeah.
And I did succumb to my phone once or twice. But when I looked back, things were only just progressing. So it was like, oh, the ship's stuck. They're going to sort out this wood like 15 to 20 TikToks later. And then I look back and it's like, okay, they've freed the ship. And I've missed nothing of any importance in the unclogging of the rotor blade or whatever it was. It was, everything just takes longer to achieve.
Yeah. You're right. You are right. Yeah, you are right. All right. So, what could you do your list for the Monsters of Universal.
Update my list. I mean, Phantom of the Opera is still at the bottom.
In case we forget any.
Yeah, Phantom of the. I can't remember. I can't actually remember where I've ranked them previously. I think I've got Frankenstein at number 1, haven't I?
Oh yes, I believe you put. I think we both put Frankenstein at number 1. Yeah. So number 1, Frankenstein.
Frankenstein, Dracula.
Yeah.
The Invisible Man.
Yep. I'm
Kinda
with you.
wanna
I'm
say
with you for
this.
3. You want to say this for the 4? Okay.
It's
okay.
This or the Mummy, and I think this wins just because of the creature.
I think I'd agree. I think
This
I'm
and the
I'm with
Mummy.
you 4 for 4 right now.
And
So
then,
your bottom 4, you're looking at the Mummy, Phantom, Bride, and Wolfman.
yeah, I mean,
In whatever order you want to put them in.
I mean, Phantom is the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Bride above that. Wolfman. Yeah. Frankenstein, Dracula.
Invisible Man. Creature.
This, Mummy. Wolfman. Bride.
I think the only ones I would swap in that list are Mummy and Wolfman. I'd swap them around. I really didn't get much from the Mummy because I wanted more of the Mummy, not just
Mummy.
Boris Karloff in a fez walking around the museum. You know, Bride. We talked about that
Yeah,
thoroughly.
that's fair.
Like
That's
the Bride. The Bride is a 5-minute film. It's Frankenstein 2.
Well, we wanted more Bride in the Bride, didn't we? That was
Yeah.
the main criticism for that.
It's Frankenstein's adventure and then Bride at the end.
It's fine as another. I mean, if they'd have put the Baron in it,
No, it would have been number 2.
it would have been.
Would have been number
everything needs
2.
the Baron.
Everything
Baron.
needs the Baron.
God bless Baron Frankenstein. I love him so.
Best takeaway. He's the best takeaway from this box.
I just want more. The Adventures of Baron Frankenstein.
We did this series to see what we could get out of 8
Mm-hmm.
classic original horror monster films from Universal.
Yeah.
And what we got out of it is the Baron is an
Is
amazing Baron.
The Baron Frankenstein is brilliant. I might watch him again tomorrow. I mean, I'm glad that I finally watched everything in this box set.
Agreed.
It feels like a rite of passage kind of thing, like a doing. You're paying your dues, your service to
Definitely.
like the old classics. And not that I'm sitting here and saying like everybody, you can't call yourself a horror fan unless you've been and watched all the old.
Exactly what he's saying.
That's not
It's
what
exactly
I'm saying.
what
It's
he's
just
saying,
what I'm
folks.
gonna think. It's just what I'm thinking. Because I don't think that it's important to do that. In the same token, I'm going to contradict myself hugely and say that I feel really pleased that I have done that. You know what I mean?
I
Does that
agree.
make sense?
I agree. I feel like a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
It's a bit egotistical, but I don't care. I feel
No,
good
well,
about this.
It's what it is. It's what we think.
It's the same sort of feeling I get once I've completed another series or franchise, you know, that I have never made my way through.
I don't know. I mean, like I say we both play video games. We're both into our games. It's like playing Final Fantasy VII. And
Where are you going with this? Where are you going with this?
going back and playing some of the earlier ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, or anything like any other franchise where a later entry in the series is the big one that everybody loves, and you kind of go, oh, hang on a minute, like really loving the 2013 Doom, and then going back and playing was it 13 or was it?
Oh, the reboot.
Yeah.
2016. Yes, and then Eternal came 2020.
Instead of playing that, and then sort of after the fact going back and playing, you know, the earlier ones. It's just good to see where things came from. You know, these are big iconic creatures for various reasons. Some of them are obviously famous literary characters, but they've got their place in, pop culture and such. And I think it's
completely. And I think
it's
down
been
the
good
line,
to actually sort of see like, oh right, that's that's where that's come from.
I think down the line we'll. I hope I can speak for both of us and say we'll definitely check out some more. I don't know.
I think so. Yeah.
Plenty more that are not on this Blu-ray collector's edition, but are on the list of however many there are. Yeah,
100%. I want to see some more creature sequels. I want to see some
completely.
creature sequels. I want to see some creature sequels. I want to check out some of the bonkers crossovers. I want to see
some Abbott Costello,
some of the Versus ones.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most definitely. So yeah, okay, we did it. We actually did it. We completed something on the show. Because I mean, we've done the odd one here and there from other franchises, but we've never actually sat and gone, right, we're doing Friday the 13th 1 up until, what would be the last one? Freddy vs. Jason. We're doing them all. And we'll get around to them, but that's going to take me a long time.
Is it Freddy vs. Jason or is it the reboot?
Oh, you're right. Fucking hell. The 2009 reboot. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, these, I mean, every Friday the 13th, they kind of the same film for the most part.
Yeah, they are.
We had a lot of differences here, but yeah, we're done. We are moving on. April brings a new light, a new bit of fun, and what could hopefully be a lot of fun in our new series, which still does not have a title, but I'm going to put this on TikTok tomorrow, and hopefully we're going to get some traction and some engagement, and we're going to get someone else to title and do our work for us.
Yeah, that's what we should do.
I've still got it here. Hang on.
You know it as affectionately as the Raven-sized coffin.
You what?
Yes, I said we know it currently affectionately as the Raven-sized coffin.
What do we got here? It's a Raven-sized coffin. You could say it's a horror tombola. What's inside, you might ask? Well, you probably hear that. I think it picked up on the mic last time. Oh, yeah. It's a bunch of ripped bits of paper with topics on, or categories, you might say. What you do is we pick two of these at random. Which one I've got here, for example? What does it say?
That says any type of killer animal.
Oh, spooky. That means we have to find a film that fits that criteria.
Yes.
And there'll be another criteria well picked out. We have already done it. We've already picked out our two. We did it about 2 months ago. I was very premature. I wanted to do it. I wanted to get involved. And what did we get? What
we got a really horrible combination. It's less than 90 minutes and Nightmare in the title.
No. It was 80 minutes or less.
Oh, it's 80 minutes or less.
But
yes.
It's the first go. I'm giving it an exception because I found an 83-minute one.
Oh yeah, you're cheating. You're bending the rules.
I cheated on the first go. Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing is, as we have said before, that's not technically a category per se, but the overarching sort of rule is that these are not going to be good films. We're generally looking at the trashier end of the spectrum of cinema here.
Yeah, you could.
Just for more fun.
I wanted the criteria as well to be like, 2 stars or less, but different streaming services they do their ratings differently, or everyone's opinion is different. It needs to be what looks like, what feels like, what comes across as a B movie, because one of these criterias. One of these pieces of criteria. Yeah. Says massacre in the title, and we're not just going to pick Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's no fun in that. I would say the way to describe it, we want to try and find the most obscure horror film that fits those criterias.
Yeah. I think it's fair to say that we know from sort of, like you say, sort of sight, general feeling.
Yeah.
The sort of thing we're looking for, and it's those sort of like quickly rushed parodies of more popular films and things. I have, just on the back of doing this, I have Googled killer animal horror movies, and there are so many I want to watch.
Yeah.
I'm kind of liking the look of Frogs from 1972.
And if Tubi was free, Tubi, the streaming services, was free in England, use a VPN, that is loaded with these sort of horror films, more than Prime and more than Shudder. Like 30 films that have Amityville in the title.
Yeah.
So there is an abundance of films, and there's a library out there for us to look through for this new feature. So every month, this is replacing our Monsters of Universal. We'll come up with a title soon, or hopefully someone will for us. And probably at the end of each month, we'll be having some fun with.
But that's not our next episode, is it?
Not next episode, no. Next feature, next series.
Feature.
Next episode, we're going good. It's about time. It's been a while.
It's been a while since we've done something decent.
Been a while. What would you say? I think we said the last proper. I would say probably the last good Silent Night, Deadly Night was probably the last good film. I wouldn't say it's a big horror classic though that we've done. You know, a main like
a big mainstream,
a big hit,
well received classic in everybody's eyes.
Maybe The Witch, or maybe oh my god,
yeah, I don't know. Possibly The Witch. I feel like people sleep on The Witch though, and they shouldn't. But
Final Destination, Return of the Living Dead, and Exorcist were back to back in September. So
yeah, it's been a while.
Anyway, it's been a
while since we've done something that people have heard of and people will have likely have seen.
Yeah.
So we're doing The Thing.
Yep, 2011 prequel.
That's the one. That is the one.
No, we are not. I'm sure we'll talk about it, though,
the 1982 John Carpenter Thing, the Thing.
Love the soundtrack. The soundtrack's so good. Yes, The Thing. Looking forward to it. Very hype. I actually watched it not long ago. So happy to watch it again. I
have not watched it for a while, so yeah, that's one of the reasons why I suggested it and picked it, because I just thought, you know what, I haven't seen that for a bit.
Very, very good shout. Again.
Yeah. So let's do that.
Yeah. So that will be coming next in the month of April. We just said about the Coffin Tombola, Horror Tombola, whatever it's going to be called. So we have that, the Fang. We got the Fang and Simpsons Treehouse Horror 5 and 6.
5 and 6.
Good stuff coming with that. We have anything else, or are we taking another week off? Did I say? Comedy and horror. We've pushed that back so much.
There we go. There was something else.
There it is.
Racking my brain.
It's Sunday night. We've got to go get our homework done and get our school clothes
we've got
clean.
Yeah, we've got another. It's been a while since we've done one of these as well. It's a discussion topic, and we're gonna just be generally chatting about all things comedy horror.
Yep. Looking forward to that.
Nothing. No one specific movie. Just generally examples of the genre or subgenre. How we feel about it, and yeah.
I was thinking another topic. Another topic I would like us to do, which did occur on the channel in the early days of the Dreadcast. Mm-hmm. I want to see your opinions in the future of what you think are good films for beginners in horror.
Oh, okay.
Because like I said, it was discussed earlier on in the early days of the channel, and we picked many subgenres of horror. A film from each subgenre that you could give to someone who is either new to horror or had never watched a horror film in their life and just like, I'm going to dive into it now, or like we picked a paranormal, picked a zombie film, picked a comedy, so it'd be interesting to see your opinions on that in the future as well.
Well, I think that's I'd like to do that, because I think that's an interesting question anyway. Because definitely. I think I'd have a lot of, if somebody did come to me and was like, recommend me I've never watched a horror film before, recommend me a horror film, then I'd probably have a bunch of questions for them first and foremost.
It's exactly what I said, because you could go the monster feature route. Do you like your monsters? Yeah, Alien, Jaws, there we go.
Yeah.
But if you don't like it, you don't like zombies, you don't get zombies, then why would you recommend them a zombie film?
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna need, and I'm gonna need something from that. But that is interesting, and yeah, that'd be good. We'll do that.
Yeah. So plenty more stuff to come in the future, folks. All right, let's get out of here. Until then, I'm not even going to check the mailbag, but you can send stuff in if you want. If you want to.
Do the Dreadcast podcast at gmail.com. We won't look at it. You can send us an email.
We won't look at it, but still send them in. And
we'll check it some other time.
I'm trying to put more work into the TikTok, into the social medias. So check out the TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at _Dreadcast, and this podcast and all past content. And you can find all our Monsters of Universal episodes at YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google, Podbean, Amazon, all by searching Nerd Dreadcast. And yeah, find all these, all past content, all Simpsons, Treehouse horror reviews we've done so far. Yeah, it's all there. All the juicy stuff is there. So until next time, with John Carpenter and Kurt Russell in The Thing, take care, and we'll see you then.
See you next time. Thanks for listening. Bye.